Oh, this is the first time back live in a week, I guess. I did one last Thursday night, and then I've been away because it was VidCon on the weekend. Often do a live stream for podcast on the weekend with Eva. Didn't because I was at VidCon. Often do a live stream on Tuesday night. Didn't because after VidCon I was sick AF, some sort of stomach virus. And this is for people watching back later because there's no one in the chat yet. So I don't even know if a notification went out. Usually be some people in the chat before I start. But yes, stomach virus, the details of which not great. And lost I literally lost a bit of weight, lost about 3 kilograms between Sunday and Wednesday. That's what happens when you don't eat anything for a couple of days and forcibly expel everything you'd eaten the day before. So, yes, Jenny Craig, eat your heart out. It's a whole new weight loss plan. The get some horrible stomach bug. I mean, people often call it con flu, convention flu, and it is 10 kinds of not good. And then I got really embarrassed that I actually gave it to Mrs. Angry. Wait, is this actually working? StreamYard says it's working. I was just checking something on YouTube. It can be hard to be sure. It's a bit weird. StreamYard definitely says I'm live. This is very odd. I need to check something to see. Oh, good. Good. Someone answered me. Musical Aviator. Oh. God damn. Oh, wait, look, it came in. Okay, that was weird. That's never happened before. That has never happened before. I was on StreamYard for about 3 minutes before it came live. I'm actually gonna post to their forum. I'm just gonna join me. Okay, which means bringing up the Facebooks, StreamYard community. Where are we? Okay, now I'm just posting in the StreamYard community. And I'm going to say, hey, I just went live on StreamYard and the stream didn't appear on YouTube for about 3 minutes. This has never happened to me before. Has anyone else experienced this? What the fuck? That is so... Sometimes autocorrect is... It's not even autocorrect, but it's auto-suggest for spelling errors. One letter wrong and it still couldn't get... Anyway, okay. So now I can kill these extra windows and just get back to chat. Okay. Rock and roll. So I've got to say hi to everyone. Musical Aviator, Shadow Eyes, Miss Foxification. Oh, so that was weird. That has literally never happened before. And so I've posted to the Facebook community to see if it's happened to someone else. We shall see. Yeah, it's weird because StreamYard was telling me I was live for about 3 minutes, and as anyone who was here or anyone who watches this back later will see, it was about I come in mid-sentence because I'm just realizing when this is not right. No one's coming into the chat. Someone should be in the chat by now. On the plus side, while I was, while I was preambling, I was saying a bunch of stuff I'm going to want to say again to people, which would suck for people who watch it back. But now it's not there, so that's okay. Yes, Shadow Eyes, weird. It disappeared. It was there, disappeared, came back. Hopefully it's back. Maybe, look, maybe because I am on Wi-Fi, and that could be part of it. Maybe look, I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm just going to go and get a cable and plug my laptop in to the modem. Just give me a sec. Here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, I'm going to move some stuff on the table here. Hope no one gets motion sickness. I'm rocking the laptop around far too much. There we go. There we go. That may or may not improve things. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. And I don't know if we're going to get an AIDSy tonight. He actually texted me on Tuesday saying, "Send me the link. Let's go." And I'd forgotten to tell him I was really goddamn sick, and I wasn't going to do a live stream. Now I'm mostly over it now, but only mostly. And one thing I do not have an excess of at the moment is energy. So it is possible I may fade somewhat. I may be flaky. So I don't know if I'll even last the usual duration. And if you couple that with some possible weird-ass technical problems, then I may well not last the usual 2 hours. But we will see what we see. Oh, okay, Miss Foxification, you're saying YouTube streams frequently send you a second invite once I arrive, and you need to reload after that. But you have a considerable amount of YouTube scripting blocked. That seems like a wise course of action. Quite honestly, it really is. Speaking of wise courses of action, that's the thing I'm not going to follow tonight, because I've been a bit foolish, a little bit foolish this week. I like to be foolish occasionally because life's too short otherwise. And I bought I bought a couple silly things from an online bottle shop, and The reason I chose the two things is they were slightly odd, and there was no delivery fee on them, and the big mega bottle shop in question doesn't actually stock these in the shops. They just have a deal with a smaller distributor to sell them online. So all these things combined to make me think I should try this. And so I am going to try them tonight. Not sure it's a good idea. Musical aviator, you're working tomorrow. At least you get more pay. For now, till the Tories completely eliminate penalty rates whatsoever, which is their obvious goal. They are creatures of Satan. Yes, Miss Fox question. Life's too short, especially if you're a millennial. Yes. Look, this is the first one. I posted pictures of this on social media. And one of my friends who spent a lot of time in Germany recognized it because it's a German drink. It's a bubblegum flavor. They say it's with vodka. It's only 20% alcohol. So that's half the usual strength of vodka. But bubblegum flavor, yes. And my friend said she'd seen some of the German festivals, the girls in those rather stereotype, I don't even know what they're called, bustiers, things that put everything front and center in Oktoberfest, handing out shots of this stuff, which sounds dangerous. But they've got like a fake wax seal that is made to look like bubblegum. It's just plastic, obviously. I thought I'd have to break that, but it literally is just sitting on top. But yes, bubblegum vodka. Hi, Safa. How you going? So, do a taste test in the skull shot glass. I'm going to do a whole shot of it. I just want to taste it straight. It smells very sweet. It does not smell like vodka. I guess it smells a tiny bit like vodka, but it mostly smells very sweet. So God knows how much sugar is in this. If you had like a nutrition information in it, I think the sugar content would be very high. Okay, it kind of tastes like cough medicine that's been flavored for kids. I mean, yeah, it was very warm going down. But yeah, it is a sickly sweet bubblegum flavor. Yeah, the first thing I thought, then that with the alcohol, the first thing I thought of was flavored kids medicine. I'm going to drink it straight. I have some lemonade. Put some in it. It's a very weird drink. This is the sort of things I get on impulse buys. You know, people are always joking about their online impulse buys. This is my most recent impulse buy. Weird alcohols from the internet. I'm probably not going to make a habit of that. It's only 20%, so I'll put a couple drops in. There we go. So what am I doing on the grand final public holiday? I wasn't even sure I'd get the day off, actually, because I wasn't sure if where I was working was under federal rules or state rules. But it's day off tomorrow. I was going to say sleeping. Not going to sleep in much. Going to sleep in past my usual alarm time, which is like 6:15. But I did promise young Mr. Angry we'd go shopping for some stuff. I might go to Costco or the outlet mall, which open at 10, I guess. And I'll have to check in the morning. Yeah, I have to get a couple things, and I'd rather do it sooner. Rather do it sooner rather than later. But don't have to go right at 10 o'clock. Maybe I can just sleep in. He'll probably sleep in. He's an animal. Stay up playing games all night. Both of my offspring are mad online gamers. Tonight they were hanging out together, listening to some new K-pop. I think it's one I wasn't. Oh, it's good. It was one I'm not familiar with. I mean, I'm not familiar with any of the K-pop. Really, it was a girl, and they appeared quite well versed with whoever the hell it was. Safa, I'm not sure if it's a holiday outside of Melbourne Metro. Oh, no, it is. It's all Victoria, I think. It's a Victoria-wide holiday. I'm not sure. It's Melbourne Cup Day is only Melbourne Metro, and other areas of the state have the gazetted holiday on a different day. It's usually show day in the region. Okay, you know what? With lemonade, it's much better. I think this could actually be a good mixer. As much as I'm treating it like it's an unhealthy color, it's not even like an appealing pink. It's like a dish soap, not even pure dish soap pink. It's like dirty dishwater pink. I don't know. It's not an appealing color though. You see that? See, that just looks white on there. It does have a very faint pink tinge in real life, but I've never these halogen lights in here. Flare out a bit on the webcam. Should get a sexy ring light or something to do live streams in and just put it there. Have some sexy lighting like an influencer, one of those influencers. I'm gonna do a search, but I'm not gonna make it now because I'm just drinking this bubble gum vodka cocktail. See if anything interesting. Bazooka bubblegum cocktail. That's a good start. Does anyone remember Bazooka? That was a brand that was around a lot when I was a kid. The Bazooka I remember. This is one of these ones where you can't find the fucking recipe. Save recipe and that's okay. This is actually telling you how to make it with bubblegum. Good Lord. Make it with vodka, lemon juice, lime juice, simple syrup, egg white. So that's for making like a fucking makes one drink. What? It says 2 cups of vodka. These people are insane. But that might work. That's just bubblegum vodka with lemon juice, lime juice, simple syrup, and egg white. And I like egg white in a drink. I could go that. Tipsy bartender, how to make a bubblegum martini. Jesus Christ, that's gross. Some of the tipsy bartender videos on YouTube are quite fun. I like them. He's just made it really gross, the bubblegum martini. Bubblegum vodka. Rim the edge of a martini glass in corn syrup and bubblegum sprinkles. Put bubblegum vodka and bubblegum syrup and lemon lime soda in a glass. Oh my God, that sounds so gross. Although that other thing, that was lemon and lime, just like lemon and lime soda. Bubblegum infused. No, not Pinterest. Pinterest is like the shittest fucking website on the planet. Just won't behave like a website. Tries to take over your fucking browser. Fucking hate it. Hey, Luke, how you doing? And Wolfer, hello to you. Haven't seen you for a little while. I'm actually really liking it with lemonade. I think I will, over the weekend, try making a cocktail with it, actually. I like that, Miss Fox Occasion. A little sour, a little sweet, gets you drunk. It's an election special. The UK might be having an election special soon. It's also very strange there. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Is this blow pop martini through bubblo cocktails and shots? The Intoxicologist. I haven't seen that website before. Bubblegum vodka, candy cocktails, bubblegum fizz cocktail. Let me see. What's this one? Vodka, blueberry passion schnapps, grenadine, club soda. That's Vickers. Blueberry bubble. Bubblegum vodka. Fucking fruit schnapps. Why is everyone obsessed with fruit fucking schnapps? Grenadine. Yeah, blue curacao. Bubble vodka. Peach tree schnapps. Why the fuck not? Cranberry. Clubs. They're all putting clubs. Yeah. Which is what we call lemonade, of course. Cranberry. There's so little variation in these. What's this one? Bubblegum. Oh my God. If I think something looks gross, it's gross. I have very low standards. Very low standards. So if we go to Ukraine, a corrupt country like Ukraine will do anything for money, favors for the mob boss ally president. Yeah, but someone ratted out Trump and his Ukrainian would-be sidekick for doing a corrupt deal. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. You raise a good point about the UK misfoxification. If Butters Johnson gets an extension to Brexit or causes I actually think it's not possible for him to cause a hard Brexit now. It's basically when everyone apart from him gets what they want, which is some sort of extension or something that's not a no-deal Brexit. Then there will be an election, most probably. Look, yes, Scott Morrison is getting worse, isn't he? He's just being a complete cunt, sucking up to Donald Trump in a way we haven't seen since, John Howard sucked up to George Bush, like when virtually every world leader was sucking up to, virtually every world leader was distancing themselves from George Bush because of the fucking horrors he was inflicting on Iraq. John Howard doubled down and sucked harder, and George Bush loved him for it, and John Howard loved being loved for it, and now fucking Scott Morrison's doing it, slavishly sucking up to Donald Trump in a way very few people are willing to do. And yes, the Hillsong thing. I don't know if anyone does know this. I've been reading about this today, and it's making me super fucking angry, and it's probably going to be the topic of my video tomorrow. For those who don't know, that our glorious Prime Minister is part of a creepy evangelical church known as Hillsong, biggest mega church in Australia, founder of which was a fucking child molester. Huge surprise. His son, who is Scott Morrison's spiritual advisor, did not inform police when he discovered that his father was sexually abusing children. Did not inform them straight away, and is under police investigation for his conduct. And the story goes, Scummo wanted to take his happy clapper mate to visit his new bestie Trump, but even the Trump administration looked at the person Morrison wanted to invite, go, person under active investigation in a child sexual abuse case? The fuck is wrong with you? What is wrong with Morrison is he's fucking garbage. He is amoral, soulless garbage who has this terrifying belief that God is on his side. Now, Trump is just a liar. Trump and his indulgence of evangelicals and whatnot, he's just a flagrant, opportunistic liar. But to me, Morrison is considerably more terrifying because all available evidence is he actively believes in this extreme version of this evangelical Christianity. And because he won the last election against all odds, he now seriously and genuinely believes he is anointed by God to lead Australia. So he literally cannot do anything wrong because God wants him there, which is fucking terrifying. So if you went to Crimea on your Russian passport, there's a question on a Ukrainian visa. If you've ever been to Crimea and you still have to pay $90 for a visa, dang. Bit tense in that part of the world. Safa, which Christian religion is the most extreme? Well, see, it depends, because you always get that stuff that people say, oh, they're not real Christians. And it also depends what you mean by extreme. But there are political activist groups in the US who call themselves Christians. They're white supremacists. They're fucking Nazis. What do they call themselves? I'm trying to remember. They're really dangerous. They're armed and dangerous and have killed people. They've got a particular name. They're fucking freaks, though. Blink Johnny, yes. We are in the era of subpar leadership. To see it in the world stage at the same time, Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, and Scott Morrison, truly astonishing stuff. Truly astonishing that three such well below mediocre men get the most powerful political office in their land. It's absolutely astonishing that happened at the same time. Saf, you are right. The KKK, I'm not sure the KKK regard themselves as a religion, though. Virtually everyone in the KKK regards themselves as religious, but the KKK itself isn't a religion. It's a social club. I'm going to do a Google search. Extreme Christian militia and see what comes up. Wikipedia has a section on Christian terrorism. Christian Patriot Movement. See, we also don't get told shit about all over the world. There are different groups. Look, start of modern terrorism. I wish I could remember the name of this mob. I'm just looking for them. It's not revivalist. It's not like Armageddonist. There are something-ist. And they're scary fucking fuckers. They are very quite terrifying people. Like I said, not least because they're armed and have already been killing people and actively radicalizing even more people. At least after years of ignoring what they were told, the majority of social media companies in the majority of cases have started to understand they were directly responsible for radicalizing large numbers of people, including mass killers, by not just allowing free speech, but by actively promoting the extremists. It would have been one thing if these, actual Nazis and other white supremacists and neo-fascists and whatnot, it would have been one thing if they were just allowed on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, etc. But YouTube and Facebook in particular actively and aggressively promoted these extremists because it drove engagement, which meant money to them. I'm not going to look up. I'm going to look up Behind the Bastards. Behind the Bastards podcast, because that's where I heard the term. But I scroll back. He's reading stuff about the rise of American fascism, which was super, super fun to have someone just really set it out for you, just how fucking bad the rise of fascism is and how dangerous it is. Very, 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 very fucking creepy shit. No, I can't find it. It may or may not come back to me at some point, but that's it. I did see that rather interesting piece of news, Safa, abortion being decriminalised in New South Wales, which is a fucking relief. It was bizarre that it ended up being as contentious as it did, because although it's only just been decriminalised, people were still able to get abortions, and prosecutions were almost non-existent. There was one in the last couple of years, and to find another one you have to go back decades. So although it was on the criminal code, it was extremely unlikely to be prosecuted. But it's good to make the formal pronouncement that's way overdue that it isn't a criminal act. So in a lot of ways, it's just symbolic, because, like I said, there's 2 prosecutions in the last 2 or 3 decades in New South Wales, and to the best of my knowledge, it hadn't been particularly difficult to procure an abortion. But it's good that it's now less difficult and it's officially decriminalised, because the idea of being criminalised is fucking ridiculous, backward superstition. That's my view. Along with, if you don't like abortion, don't get one. And there are just bigger problems in the world. And while it's blindingly obvious to anyone who listens to anything I say that I am not one of the religious folk, but honestly, if they were completely right, if it was literally like, oh no, it's a soul, you're killing them, oh, there would just be bigger problems in the world. The number of born people dying, the number of born people struggling to live. It's just weird. And it's relatively recent as well. Like the Christian churches stayed out of it until it was like the 70s or even 80s. And then it became, it was only the extremists who really made a big song and dance about it. And then there's like the culture war thing. This is very big in the Reagan years in the US, where conservative political parties, who to a large extent had actually stuck with this hyperbole of the government shouldn't interfere with people's lives and people's individual liberties, they started to throw that right out the window and went, nah, we should do a fuckload of interfering. We should do everything we've always accused our opponents of, except we do it on steroids. And that's been the last, 30 years. We're sharing our dinner recipe. So I've had nasi goreng, fried rice. That means so many different things depending if it's an instant packet or if you got it from a restaurant, how good the restaurant is. Broadly, I like nasi goreng, but it means so many different things and could be such a different dish depending where you get it. I had a bit of spaghetti carbonara and calzone. Went Italiano, local pizza place. That's the other side effects of the illness is I'm still not eating a lot. I haven't even really gone into how sick I was. I spent the first couple of minutes when the live stream wasn't even going out talking about how sick I'd been. Who wants to hear about how sick I've been? Because I went to VidCon on the weekend. And then Sunday night, while I was sleeping, started to feel very bad. And then it got very, very bad. And yes, so in the early hours of Monday morning, I, let's say, lost pretty much everything I'd eaten on Sunday through one orifice or another. And then didn't eat for 2 days. On Tuesday night, I had some chicken soup, which was like the best thing I'd ever eaten. That's how hungry I was and how relieved I was to not be so sick. I mean, the little milestones were important. It was like 12 hours of thinking I was going to die, then 12 hours of not seeing the point in living, and then a day of feeling really weak. Like Monday was just a fucking write-off. I was so fucked on Monday. Tuesday was okay. Like it was mostly a 24-hour thing. Like the acute thing was 24 hours. The really acute thing was 12 hours. Tuesday, I was so weak. And I was still pretty fucked. I was probably only about 60% healthy, but because I was only 5% healthy the day before, so 60% felt really good. Like simple joys like drinking water. The first time I was able to drink a big drink of cold water and not throw up, my God, that was such a relief. Because for 24 hours, it was like nothing was staying down. And Mrs. Angry got me these, it's one of those just store things with, a really innovative name, Gastro Stop or something, just powder in water. Then after I drunk it, she told me, guess what? That expired in 1999. She's not joking, 1999. I have no idea we still had it. There was that. But that was like mixed. It's like, I don't know, it's probably saline and sugar. I don't know if there's anything else in it. So in a cup and little sips. And then like a day later, I was able to drink water. That was such relief. And then the Tuesday night, I had actual chicken soup, and it took 3 stages to eat 1 bowl of chicken soup, but I ate it, and it was like the best thing I'd ever eaten. Dr. Obama, how you going? You don't have to apologize for not always being in live streams. We're getting to how I'm going. I'm going better. Wednesday, I thought I would go to work, but then Mrs. Angry got sick. Yesterday, Mrs. Angry got sick, and I felt so bad. it kind of manifested differently in her. She didn't throw up. She had a worse fever than I had. But even I was going, oh, no, I should stay and look after you because you looked after me on Monday. And then also I just got up, I'm like, oh, no, I'm actually way weaker than I thought I was and not able to focus. Like, I'm not sure I could have safely driven to work. I'm not sure I had the attention and focus and strength to safely drive to work. So I didn't go to work on Wednesday either. Went to work today, yay. And it was very clear. I guess my match fitness varied between 80 and 90%. At its worst, which is sort of pre-lunch, I was like, fuck me, any other day, if I felt like this, I would go home sick. But this is so much better than the last couple of days. I'm going to stick it out. And I stayed at work all day. Yes, misfocation was probably electrolyte powder in the stuff that I drank, sipped. And then, yeah, last night I had a couple slices of pizza. This is like 2 nights in a row. Is that 2 nights in a row? I don't know. I actually let the young angries direct the food thing. I said because I shouldn't really be preparing any food because it's possible I might still contaminate it. But I'll get some takeaway, which I normally wouldn't do a lot. Yes, I did. So I had a little bit of spaghetti carbonara and a couple pieces of calzone. And it's literally, because I got to share with this, I got the spaghetti carbonara, spaghetti bolognese, and 2 different sorts of calzone. And I normally would have had some of the carbonara and some of the bolognese and probably 2 slices of each of the calzones. And I had some of the carbonara and 1 slice of each of the calzone. I'm like, I cannot eat anything else. So yes, besides losing about 3 kilograms, drop a dress size this week. Ask me how. Just get a horrible stomach infection. Yes, don't have a full appetite back yet. So, but that's side of it. That's a plus side. I don't recommend this at all as a weight loss method because it's fucking horrible. Just this, it's only extended period. For me, it was like about 12 hours of just like really thinking I was not really thinking I'm going to die, but it's hard to be logical and recognize that I'm going to get better, It just felt like this is it. It's fucked. This is what it's always going to be. This is fucked. Feeling very sorry for myself. So, Dr. Obama, new Labour makes you sick. They continue to suck the proverbial. Oh my God. The joke we talked about in the previous podcast of Labour brokens, which is an insulting term which I found hilarious that people were using on Twitter. I think I don't know. Before the federal elections, certainly. A year, I don't might have been as far as 2 years ago, I heard people talking about Labour brokens. And my perspective, the way I've seen it used, what it broadly means is people whose identity is so tied up in I'm a Labour voter, they can't process or accept the shortcomings and failings of the Labour Party and just do this amazing double think where it isn't happening, like how shit Labour's asylum seeker policy has been since the Conservatives scared them into going along with the racist bullshit. But I saw a spectacular example of it. I think it was on Facebook. It was either Twitter or Facebook. Someone going, how shit Albanese's being. And this reply was, oh, don't you worry. Albo's an old school lefty. It's a trick. He's biding his time. He's just buttering up the scared middle of the road people to get elected, and then he'll put proper left-wing policies in. I'm like, get fucked. You are that empty and dead inside that you want to praise someone. You perceive not that he's this callow, vile, and soulless. So he's literally going to be Liberal Party like, because that's every fucking announcement he's made since the election. Is like, oh no, we're absolutely going to be Liberal Party light. We're sorry we upset all the rich people. We're not going to do that anymore. But you're saying he's lying, and you cite that as a character strength. What the fuck? How? Oh my God. That's just like, what the fuck? It's just terrible. Yeah, Music Elevator, the 5D chess argument. Sorry, Timothy, you asked, am I a Star Wars fan? Huge Star Wars fan. Old enough to have seen the original in the cinemas when I was a kiddie. Kept scrapbooks from the original trilogy. I was massive Star Wars fan as a kid. Had all the little toys that a college girlfriend made me throw away. In retrospect, bad idea. But yes, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Hugely looking forward to seeing The Rise of Skywalker this Christmas. I'm fascinated to see what they're going to do with a story resolution. Timothy, you reckon Jedi Outcast is good on Switch? Ages since I've played a Star Wars game properly. I think I own a couple that I've never played, which is ridiculous. I loved back in the 90s Dark Forces with Kyle Katarn. I loved that. That was the first one. That was like came out after Doom. It was like Doom, but you got to shoot stormtroopers. Loved it. Oh, that's it. I sent you the link. Okay, looks like ADS's going to join us. He's been indisposed, but he's going to join us for the second half, which would be nice. Yes, Timothy, Darth Maul did nothing wrong. Yeah, it's dangerous to me to get into games because then I won't do other stuff. And young Ms. Angry has commandeered the Switch for her bedroom lately. I got a PS4 in the lounge room, which Mrs. Angry has commandeered. She's deep into Red Dead Redemption 2. All right. AZ is going to join us. Yeah, I got to be a bit careful with games. Like, I'm really excited to, at some point, play Borderlands 3, but I'm honestly not in that big a rush. I can probably wait till it gets cheap because I'm a cheap bastard. I don't have to play games straight away. Like I played like Grand Theft Auto 5, I don't know, like a year, 2 years after it came out. Mafia 3 also probably like 2 years after it came out. Young Ms. Angry got me Yakuza 0 for Christmas. I don't know how long after it came out that was. This was not last Christmas. It was the one before. Oh, maybe it was just last Christmas because that was a long fucking time ago. Christ, it's the end of September. I am old and lose track of time. Oh, yeah, Timothy, nothing wrong with being cheap. I'm proud of being cheap. Things being on special is 90% of the reason I buy them. It's really funny. That's like how I decide if I'm going to the supermarket, what are we having for dinner? It's like, what's on special? Because it also, it's a double thing. Well, yeah, you save some money, but also you don't have to expend as much energy thinking about what's for dinner. And every now and then I'm going, I get that's not on special. I go, wait, I have a job. I actually don't have to get something that's really cheap. I can pay full price if I want. I have a job. I forget that sometimes. This is my upbringing. I grew up like one of 10 kids. Dad was a small businessman, so we never had any fucking money. How my mother did it, I will never know. My mother should have been federal treasurer for the government of either party. The ability to actually manage the budget, to keep 10 kids alive on very little money was a truly astonishing achievement. I don't know how she kept us all alive, not just from, food, just like not dying from misadventure. I mean, a couple of us came close at various times. I had one or two close calls, and I think some of my older siblings had much closer calls, which weren't really spoken about. There's about it's not 20 years, 15 years age gap between the oldest and the youngest in my family. That's probably right. It's probably about a 15-year age gap. Catholics, country town Catholics, lots of kids, 10 kids, in somewhere between 15 and 20-year period, had 10 kids. My mum kept them all alive, kept them fed. Every now and then I think about it, because like I do laundry on the weekends, and I just realize my mother did more laundry than this every fucking day just to keep things happening. As outrageous. Dr. Obama, the Labor election review said they won't change core policies. I just want them to grow a fucking spine publicly. That's actually important to me, which possibly makes me naive, possibly makes me old-fashioned. There's so many people who just goes, no, all you've got to do is win an election. Doesn't matter what you do, what you say, blah, 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 win an election. And I can see why people feel like that. The fuck? I just want more from people. And, if that makes me naive or idealistic, well, fuck, that's me. It's important to me that people say they stand for something and they have integrity. That's important to me. Timmy, has anyone told me how sexy I'm looking today? Mrs. Angry did, but thank you for backing up. And I did have a haircut recently. So, keeping up appearances. I literally did for VidCon that I'm going to be seeing a bunch of people. Cut my hair, get my beard trimmed, color it. A bit less as the silver fox. I mean, obviously, you can see it's not exactly jet black, is it? It's pointless trying to pretend there's not a lot of silver there, but that's a good summary, Miss Fox Occasion. We need politicians of substance that stand by what they believe instead of being cowards. Yes, good point, Dr. Obama. Labor's been in worse places, like when Latham used to be leader. That was very short-lived, though. Do you want to go pink? I haven't done a bright color for a while. Like in the past, I've done purple and red and blue, which at various stages of washing out did look very pink. One of the reds went super orange one time, and the purple ones went very pink as it was washing out. This is a good thing with natural highlights, aka all my grey hair. When it grows out a bit and I get it cut and then all the grey is really noticeable, if I put a colour in it, all the greys really pick it up. Natural highlights. See, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, quite honestly. But you gotta try and be positive, I think. If in my youth my hair was very dark. We used to always say it was black. It wasn't really black. It was very dark brown. My natural hair color was very dark brown. And like anyone, it's started to go grey as I went older. Saf, I want to do lunch on October 11th. What day of the week is that, my friend? Looking on a calendar, it's a Friday. The problem with that is I will almost definitely be in Footscray on Friday the 11th, which is not the CBD. It's not that far out, but it's not the CBD. You should definitely stay in Tooch because I might. How many weeks away is that? Because I'm usually working in. Okay, it's not next week. It's the week after. Might be able to, because I can work in the city, unless this. Yes, my work, because I have to talk to people, meetings and stuff, and if something comes up that I have to be in a particular place, then I have to be there. But if I have flexibility, I can be in the city. Oh, this Victorian crime stats are out. We're a bit more glass half full. Let me see if I can find a story about them because I hadn't seen that. Victorian crime statistics. What's in the news? Crime stats. We'll go with the ABC. They're possibly the least sensational. Here's what they tell us. So far today, police would have dealt with 631 domestic violence matters today. Shite. There we go. 224 alleged home invasions, 224 alleged home invasions, 294 carjackings, 12 months to June 30. Slight increase on previous year. Very slight. Still not good, honestly. Fuck people who do that, honestly. Significant number of these are happening in the outer suburbs, southeast near Dandenong, west near Caroline Springs. This is an interesting one. Deputy Commissioner saying the opportunistic nature of carjackings and aggravated burglaries, aka home invasions, made them difficult to police. Part of sprees. Yes, and they do. And those numbers are bad, and they seem bad because it then makes you think there's there's 200 some criminals out there doing that. No, it's a really small number of complete fucking assholes who do it in sprees until they get caught. Yeah, those ones, the ones that threaten people and endanger people. Fuck, you're a piece of shit if you do that, honestly. And yes, there are all sorts of circumstances and blah, 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 blah. You're a piece of shit if you persecute people like that, quite honestly. What else we got? Oh, yeah, now it gets depressing. Domestic violence. 8.1% rise in the number of breached court orders. Firearm offences. Police are seizing firearms on a daily basis. Offences increased by 5.6%. But it's still rare for firearms to be used to injure members of the public. Most of the firearm offences are crims shooting each other. That's true. That is true. Oh, yeah, there's another weird thing. Now the cops are calling this swarming. A large group of youth swarm a shop and steal things en masse. It's basically a group of them go into a shop where there's far too many of them to do anything about, and all swarm in. Oh, AIDS is there. Sorry.
You're right.
Hello.
Don't you be worried about me. I've been away for an hour. Doing disgusting things to my body.
Fair enough. I was actually off screen. I was looking at crime stats because the latest crime stats have come out.
Oh yeah. What are they?
They're not that bad. They're not particularly great, but they're not that bad. Just talking about
the other day.
Sorry?
And I missed out. I was in a swarm the other day, and all I got was like half a packet of cigarettes. It was fucked.
Uh,
These swarms are fucked.
yeah, there's a misfoxification saying they hit JB Hi-Fi swarm. Yeah, well, JB Hi-Fi is full of really stealable stuff. I
Oh, yeah.
remember, look, this is not a new thing, by the way. Now they've got a trendy word for it. Conservatives are probably, and particularly racists, are probably going to try and start a moral panic about this. I remember back in it's either late 80s or early 90s, and it was tagged to hip hop, and it was called wilding, and it was exactly the same thing. It was large groups of youths all swarming into a store at the same time. So there's basically too many of them, and you can't do anything to stop them. So it isn't new. It is a story as old as time. It's much like, let's storm Area 51. They can't get all of us.
Yeah, they can actually.
They literally could. If people had literally tried to storm Area 51, they could have got all of them. It was interesting. A bunch of people did actually show up there to just have fun.
To do the Naruto run.
Yeah, just to hang out.
Have you ever tried to do the Naruto run?
With the arms behind your back.
Yeah.
I don't like running at all. My knees are not enormous fans of running.
Really? You should do some more walking.
I do. When my knees get really iffy, I've got an isometric exercise the physio taught me. I need some stairs, and I can do a strengthening exercise on my knees, and they hurt less.
I had a friend of mine, and she got more and more and more. Well, fat is the word we're looking for.
Yes.
And loved her dearly. Love her dearly. And I kept on telling her in private moments that, darling, you look great, but you've got to get more healthy. And she said, I can't, I've got big bones.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, don't say that.
No.
And I gently told her that that's not a thing.
No,
anyway,
it isn't.
her big bones and her got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now she's got bone on her knees.
Yeah.
Bone on her ankles.
Yeah.
So now a lot of people in the world don't know that I live up 3 stories.
Yes.
And I have to walk up 3 stories if I want to go to my house.
Yes.
And she can't visit me.
Mm.
So if I ever want to avoid her, I just go home.
That's the Homer Simpson line. One episode of The Simpsons, like, where there's a fat camp for kids. You go, they're trying to escape. Don't worry. The exit's up a gentle incline.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, I tell you, this fucking stomach virus I had, one of the many side effects of it, at the worst day, every joint in my body was aching and trying to kill me. The other side effect is because of the violent vomiting, all this spasming muscles in my back, stomach, and sides that don't normally spasm. Spent the next day going, we fucking hate you. We fucking hate. Like, I couldn't move and stretch without just having little screams. It was so fun.
You stretch one and the other one goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always, I try and make myself feel better by, thinking that it's worse for you. Like, if I fuck up a knee or something, I go, and I'm in a lot of pain, I go, okay, so that's what every joint he needs his body feels like all the time. Okay. All right, I'll soldier through then. I'll soldier through.
Yeah. I'll suck it up, little soldier.
Yeah.
I don't want to suck it up anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sick of sucking it up anymore. Give me drugs. Which is what I do. Anyway, I was gonna say I did some research What's that? Welcome to AZ to my device. Thank you very much for letting me be on your devices, people. I'm sorry I was late. I had things I had to do,
That's okay.
and they weren't undoable things.
I want to get into your research, but I'm going to make myself a drink. I made one at the start. I made ridiculous purchases this week.
What ridiculous purchase did you make?
This is
eyes.
Yeah, look at the eyes. This is bubblegum flavored, supposedly vodka. It's only 20% alcohol though. It tastes a bit. You know when they make kids' medicine taste like lollies, cough medicine, so they'll drink it. Kind of tastes like that. But I had it with lemonade, and it's actually. I think that actually.
Vodka, dear? It's like Russian, isn't it? Have you
German?
Babushka, have your vodka. It is good for you. Good for you. Don't spit, or you get Uncle Shabbatnik's special hit of pain. You drink your vodka now.
Yeah. So Safa asked, why did sock people go to VidCon anyway? And I'm thinking, who are the sock people? Oh, sick people. I did not see anyone who looked sick enough to give me what they fucking gave me. Because if someone looked sick enough to give me what they gave me, I would not have gone near them. But it was dormant in someone.
I think there was wisdom in the initial spelling.
Sock people. Okay.
Go to VidCon.
This is the second one I'm gonna try. First try. You always talk about wanting. You always talk about wanting to make moonshine.
It's in a mason jar. It's called
Freedom Moonshine. Let freedom shine.
It's got barrel darkness to it.
That
bothers me.
It's unaged American rye. So they're trying to say this broadly qualifies as genuine moonshine because it's rye based, but it's not aged. So like even the cheapest rye whiskey is aged at least a year.
Yeah, but it's not white. It can't be moonshine if it's
not.
No,
it's flavored. They they had flavored ones. There was like a pink one and a red one and a blue one. But this one is apple pie rye, which just reminded me of one of the best scenes in Justified with the bloody redneck crime lady.
Here comes the pain.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Next bit's going to be hard.
Yeah.
She had apple pie moonshine. So I decided in her honor to get apple pie.
That was one of the best scenes in Justified. And
she's a recurring character in the animated series BoJack Horseman. Not the character from Justified, but actual character actress Margot Martindale, because she's such a good character actress. Whenever BoJack wants to pull a scam, he gets character actress Margot Martindale. She just disappears into whatever role she's in. She'd be perfect for this scam. And so Margot Martindale is a record, and it's the real Margot Martindale. She's a returning character on BoJack Horseman. It's
fantastic.
It's really good. Right, trying to open my moonshine jar.
Do you know what you need? I'll show you what you need.
Stronger arms.
No. You need one of these.
Oh my God, I've got one of those. Before you even show it to me, I know what you're getting out. I've got one of them. Hang on.
Get one of these. These are fucking great. If you are a manky cripple like me, you can open fucking anything with those.
Or if you're old and weak like me.
Right? If you're a manky cripple, can you just give me 2 seconds while I bash boss of the house? Just give me 2 seconds.
All right.
Go to bed.
All right, just muting Aidsy, letting him sort something out. Got to open. There we go. Look, he's right, just like that. Came off. All right. I've got to switch off the thing that's buzzing over here. Hang on. Because it annoys me. You all probably can't even hear it. Wait on. He's
Well, I was.
Where are you? Add to stream.
Did you mute my mic?
I did. Because I didn't know if you
Because
had to fart or something.
No. I was saying that Boss the House farted,
Oh, okay.
and I had to bash him.
All right. So
Don't worry about muting my mic when I go off camera. It's just me. I'll mute my mic if I have to fart.
Okay.
If I have to bash Boss the House, don't worry about muting the mic. It's just me bashing Boss the House.
Okay.
Because he calls me a moon cricket.
Well, the magic week old man thing worked its magic.
Isn't it amazing? You put it around something and you go, there's no way, and then it goes pop, and you go, there is a way, and it is the magic of silicon and plastic technology. Fuck you, troglodytes.
It's
Fuck you, people worried about fish.
It's kind of like lighter fluid with a hint of cinnamon. It's like
that sounds like my kind of drink. Can you smell it and get high?
I think so.
That's my kind of drink.
Oh my god, it's actually really easy to drink. I thought I'd be spitting fire or something. It's actually really nice. It is very
Fantastic.
apple pie flavor. It's only it is actually only 20% alcohol.
We could distill it down.
You obviously could boil it. But then the alcohol. But yeah, with a distill thing, you boil it down and make it stronger. Yeah. What are these things called? They're like called a handy grip or something, aren't they?
Oh, fuck if I know. I call them the manky holder.
You just get it from like a homewares store, anything, and just go. You got one of those things that you open jars with. I was going to like.
They look at you funny because they're 15, and then you punch them twice, and they go, "You're not allowed to do that." And I'm looking for a safe space. Oh my god! I had an altercation with maybe 16-year-old. I won't say the name of the store, Kmart. Employee who I was joking about the machines and saying how fucked they are, and saying how they're abusing me, and saying how shit they are. And this guy freaks out and says, well, I don't have to stand here being sworn at. I'm going out to get some air, and then runs off. Now, standing next to me is the general manager of the store, who I'm friends with. And I'm like, what, why have you run away? And I've turned to him and gone, that was understood to be a joke. Yeah, right? I'm not wrong here, am I? I've not crossed any lines. And he's just rolled his eyes and looked upwards and gone, yeah, no, that's right. Don't worry about it. And next time I ran into him, I said, has the misunderstanding been sorted between me and the other employee? And he said, yes, it has. And I find out that he's done this a couple more times to other customers.
Oh God!
And that he's not quite right in the head. Was given a chance from a halfway sort of house, and it was like the 5th or 8th time he'd done it, and the boss finally said, you have to go.
It's too stressful a job for him.
Well, yeah, not only that, but it was too stressful a job for all the other staff.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's too stressful for everyone, but I mean, cutting the guy a bit of slack, like, okay, experiment was done, opportunity was given, but it's too stressful. It's time to face reality and go, well, dude's coping with something about here, and he got placed here, and it's just not going to work.
Well, apparently it's not quite like that.
Oh, really?
apparently he likes things the way he likes things.
Right.
And apparently he likes being talked to the way he likes being talked to, which is to be adored, praised, and deferred to.
Oh,
Now,
retail's the right environment for him.
well, this is it. He's in retail and it's not happening. And he's getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And every now and he just goes pop. And I just happened to be there one night when we went pop. The first thing I
Yeah.
knew that was something was wrong is I had an armful of shit and my walking stick. And I'm going to him, so can I grab some help here? And he looks at me. And I go, so some help here would be great because I don't want to. And then I've spilt everything. And I've
Yeah.
gone, that was the outcome I was not looking for. So can you maybe help me pick them up? Nothing.
Oh,
So I'm
Jesus.
picking one at a time and sticking them on his shelf. And doing that. And he's still looking at me. And I've said, I wonder if you'd ring these up and stick them in a bag for me. And he goes, all right. And sticks them in a bag. That bag is too small. And I've gone, that bag is too small. Have you got a bigger one? Oh, there's nothing wrong with this bag. He sticks another item through. The bag just splits and destroys itself. And I've gone, maybe the bigger bag's the go. And if he says, well, if you're going to be snarky about it, and I'm going, no, let's just go the bigger bag. And sticks it in the bigger bag, and gets me my receipt, and then starts to crumple it up and says, no, I need that for the bag, for the room, for the bag checkers at the front.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, okay. And I looked at him and I thought, you fucking knew very well what you were doing there.
Yeah.
So I've grabbed it off him and I'm going, all right, I'll be watching you in the future.
A little ray of
And
sunshine.
yeah, he dresses quite oddly, but that's not here nor there. So yeah, it was a very interesting
Yeah.
month or so.
Yeah.
Anywho, I imagine he'll be back once he's been re-educated.
I can get his percussion tonight. Sorry, the lid of my moonshine jar.
Well, if I had a moonshine jar, I could join you. But somebody doesn't get me moonshine. No. No one gets me moonshine. Why? Because they hate me.
I can't tell
I'm
if
looking at
this is.
you. I'm looking at you, Kirkness.
I'm not sure if this is ironic or like deliberately, literally trying to appeal to like Trump types, calling it freedom moonshine. Let freedom shine, American rye. You know, like
Let freedom shine.
with
Let
your
the apple.
moonshine.
Let the eagle soar. And she soars from shore to shore.
Right. I was
Remember that when the Secretary of Treasury sang his song?
I have a vague memory of that.
Yeah, and he sang this like 5-minute song in front of Congress about let the eagle soar after they were getting better from 7-Eleven. I did some research.
Yes, what was your research?
Okay, so all right, so I'm researching Bow Chicka Bow Bow how to pick up chicks.
Yes.
And one of the things that it's about is not shouting at everyone who turns up with wrong-headed ideas because they're used to being shouted at. Okay?
Okay.
So you've got your particularly, one of the ones that have run particularly in mind are incels. They're
Yes.
used to being shouted at.
It's actually part of their identity.
Yeah, right? They're
Yeah.
used to being shouted at and told they're crap and told they're this and told they're that, right? So I've been doing a lot of work recently on TED Talks and on um, Royal Institute, and you've got no idea how much internet time I've been putting in. You have seriously no idea how much. I wake up in the morning, I put my teeth back in, I go down to the chemist, and then I come home, and then I hit the internet, and then I hit the internet until I fall asleep after I've made my bed, and then I go to bed. That's how much I'm researching all day,
Okay.
every day. So I researched the incels, and I was so bothered by it that it hit me for 2 days afterwards. I was so upset at what these guys think, at what these guys believe. Like they're into rape, they're into violence, they're into having as a saint. His name's Elliot Rodge, right?
Yes, the mass
Just the
killer.
kid who killed all those people because they wouldn't have sex with him. And he's Saint Elliot. Um, and they they have a word for people who look amazing, and they're Chads and Stacys.
Yes.
Okay, Chads always get the chicks, and Stacys always get the Chads. And the normal incels get nothing, and the Beckies, which are the incel equivalents, get nothing as well. So they get yelled at a lot because, well, they're assholes. Um, and part of it is they're entitled little white boys who've had their toys taken off them years ago. They would have been able to walk into any situation, get any job they wanted,
Yes.
and basically take any woman they required,
Mm.
because they wouldn't have had much choice. Um, and I've I've seen firsthand how this attitude works because a family member of mine basically basically when when there's a woman involved, he will be immediately anti. One of the things he said once was, "Oh, this is the organisation. It's been run by women, but they're very good. Um, they're actually quite good." And it it was at the time an unnecessary caveat,
Mm.
and remains so.
Yes.
But he kept on saying it, um, and it was like he was waiting for them to stuff up.
Mm, mm,
Um, there was a charge out, a couple of doors down from this institution where there was a uh, sexual discrimination, not discrimination, but a harassment suit,
mm,
um, by one of the staff of the organisation that we were involved in. Um, and the police had been informed, and we had been informed.
mm.
And so they said to me, "What would be the best way to handle this?" And I said, "Fire him immediately. Just fire him. Get rid of him now."
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, what reason should we give?" And I said, "Don't give any reason at all. Just give him his Monday papers and tell him to get out."
Mm,
Oh yeah, but we've got to. No, you don't. Just say get out. Um, because what will happen was he'll have his charges pressed, and he'll get as much bloody reason as he needs from the charges that he gets, And in front of Your Honour, he'll say, "Do you have a job?" And you'll say, "I used to, but I got fired." And Your Honour will say, "Right, fair enough," and won't bring the organisation into the stink that is about to go down. Um, and I had to explain this to them, and it bothered me that I had to explain this to them. It's
Mm.
like, how do you fucking not know this? How do you not understand any of this? Anyway, so I've researched these incels, and they believe that they are not eligible for sexual intercourse. They
Yes, they are
believe
actively precluded.
they believe that other people are stopping them from having the sexual intercourse. And being what would technically be known as an incel myself many times, but not with the attitude.
Yeah.
Um, I I I have okay. So I'm sorry, I'm backtracking here and going all over the place.
Mm.
Young men are not taught anymore
Mm.
about how to chase down and woo a young lady.
Mm.
They're not taught to do that anymore. It is assumed that their biologicals will kick in and they will know how to do it. Well, when your biologicals kick in, what that means is you grab the hair of the nearest mate that you like, you drag her onto the ground, and you fuck her. That's the biologicals that kick in. Now, the other biologicals that kick in is that you give her a piece of food and that you grab her and you take her with you and you slowly make her more comfortable, though she's not allowed to get away. You introduce her to the tribe and she becomes more comfortable with the tribe. And then eventually you're really the only male she knows. And so she gives it up for you. Anywho, this is millions of years old. So when we get more sophisticated, the same rules apply. You are trying to make your um, your your prospective partner more and more comfortable, more and more cherished, more and more um, more and more feeling good about you and themselves. They're
Mm.
starting to
Mm.
think, you know what, I can handle this guy. You know what, this guy could fucking support me and my kids. You know what, this guy could climb the social ladder within the troop, within the tribe,
Yes.
without standing outside the tribe.
Yeah.
That's important. That's important. You don't want to be so different that you're outside. Because if you're outside, that's death.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, look, there's all kinds of little things that we miss out on. You know that thing where you've got a bowl of chips or a basket of chips, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're eating your chips and you're happy. And then
Yeah.
she comes up and says, "Can I have some of your chips?" And you
Mhm.
go, "I'll buy you some chips. I just want some of yours. I'll buy you a whole bowl of chips. I don't want a whole bowl. I just want some of yours." Right? What the fuck is that? I'll tell you what that is. That is a public recognition that she is allowed to have your resources. That she, because it's always in public, you'll actually come to understand this. It's always in public. If she's eating your chips, then she is sending a signal to everyone around that she has access to your resources and that no one else does, but she does. And food is a most basic resource. She is at will able to take your food with permission and with any what is not turpitude with turpitude. She's allowed to do it anytime she wants. The other one, which I love this one. It does not matter how liberated, how woke, how how modern a woman is. If you give another woman a fair amount of resources, she will lose her fucking mind. If you give her your stuff, she will lose her shit immediately. This is genetic. She has no control over this. It's because basically you are giving her stuff. Your woman has basically been had her stuff taken from her and given to another woman, which immediately threatens her future and her children's future.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if it's well replaceable. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not important. She's fucking furious about that. And so what you do is you get her to give the woman the resources because then she's cool with it. But there's little things that incels don't understand. They don't understand that you're not entitled to people. People are not chattel. People are not things. See, and I hate to say it to our American friends, they've been taught for a long time to take.
Yeah.
Right? They've been taught for a long time to take the affections of a person. You know, it's like the French, right? I take a lover. I take a flat. I take a shit. You know, you don't take a woman. You give yourself to a woman, and then you share yourselves in the night of the dinner and a movie and a route later.
I mean, it doesn't help that they're actively pandered to by conservative media and influential
the
people.
alt-right has fucking got their hooks in so much.
Yeah.
They have fucking seriously jumped onto the incels, and they have got their fucking hooks in big time.
Yeah. And Jordan
Big
Peterson.
time. Yeah.
And to a lesser extent, Scott Adams, the Dilbert cartoonist. I don't know if you've ever paid attention to him. I used to be really into Dilbert. I really enjoyed Dilbert cartoons. And I thought Scott Adams wrote some interesting stuff as well, even if a decent chunk of it was he was being a dick just to see who he could set off by being a dick, which is a pretty immature thing in my opinion. But he started to turn first. He was one of the first people who started to say, it's like a year out from the last presidential election, he was going to say, "Oh no, Trump's seriously going to win." He's got a hold of people's brains in the way no one else has, and he's got to win. And then he appears to have gone through a bad divorce, and he's gone full on misogynist, champion of the incels shitlord. And
that is totally understandable. I get that. I have seen that happen to very reasonable men. I know a family member who is starting that process. I have interceded a few times to bring it back to before the starting line, and it's worked a couple times. But Jesus, once you go over that starting line, it's like a gun going off. You start to sprint, and as soon as you get past that first curving line, bang, you're away. And I have seen very reasonable men turn into more than incels, more than.
Oh, they turn into murderers.
They turn into murderers who don't murder. It's just, oh God. It's like at one point you were with this woman for a long time and you were having sex with her and things were fine and things were even good. But now, they're evil. When I had my divorce, I was the luckiest bastard on earth. Yeah, we were upset. Yeah, there was a bit of bitterness, but nothing like divorces you hear about. I mean, I was lucky. It was the most unacrimonious divorce we've ever had. We sat down to divide our property, and we did it in 15 minutes. We still, when we can get time, get together and have a coffee. We're still friends. When we were never angry at one another. We were disappointed, but we were never angry. And I've seen guys get so angry. And I understand that when there's kids involved, that makes it much, much more difficult. And eventually what happens always is there's a shared custody. But why there has to be this rigmarole at the start, where there has to be this massive control issue? Why fucking judges don't just go this shared custody straight out? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
That dates back decades to, ridiculous patriarchal ideas that in a divorce, by default, custody of the children would go to the mother because fathers can't raise children. That's not what they do on their own. That's the source of it. And it took the courts decades too long to adapt to changes in the world. And then that got exacerbated by the anger thing. I mean, you think, well, okay, your divorce was amenable. Mine was fucking brutal. My ex was psychotically cruel, did a succession of unforgivable things. But it didn't turn me into a fucking psycho. It didn't make me hate women. It didn't turn me into an MRA misogynist incel anything. It's always a fucking choice.
Okay, Angry. You keep talking about what you're saying,
but I mean, there are many invariable cases, and there are obviously.
He missed that entirely, by the way.
Sorry, what?
He missed that entirely, by the way.
Who missed what entirely?
You did. I was giving you shit the entire time. No, you didn't turn into an incel misogynist cunt. You didn't turn into that guy.
That's why I don't listen. That's why I've got no real fucking time for them when they go, because most the talking points of MRAs in general, incels in particular, are fucking lies. They're absolute fucking lies, and they're evil, dangerous lies that get people killed. And because they can't
Yes.
tell me that you don't know what I'm going through. No, motherfucker, I've actually been through the situation of years of torture with someone just
So,
doing
so
unforgivable shit.
I had a big fucking think about this, right?
Mm,
It's all right for me to grab young virgins and say, bow chicka bow bow, here's how to pick up chicks. It's all
yeah,
right for me to say that,
yeah.
right? But what I also happened across when I was doing my research, and it weirdly enough happened while I was doing, okay, so what I've been doing is what do Americans think about themselves? What do
Mm,
Americans think about the English? What do English think about the Americans? What do English think about themselves? What do Australians think about both of them? What do they think about Australians? What do the English speaking world thinks about each other? But particularly, what do they think about themselves?
yeah.
And the way you do that is you do comparisons. One of the interesting ways to do it is you go to Japanese hentai manga or you go to anime.
Yes.
And what happens is you read the translations, and a lot of that stuff is written not necessarily for the home market in mind.
Mm,
It's written for the American market in mind.
right.
So it's what they think Americans think about themselves. And you get this really interesting, you get this really interesting take on what what the Japanese think the Americans think about themselves. There was this great anime series. I think it might have even been called Argene.
Yeah.
But the Argenes were monsters who they were immortal, and
Yes.
they were hunted down as lab um, lab
Yeah.
rats who could be killed, and then they would come back alive again, and then they could be killed again,
Right.
and they could come back alive. So they would be tested with weapons. They would be tested uh, with with hardware like saws. They would be tested with uh, eye surgery. They would be tested with the most unimaginably painful shit you can imagine over and over and over again, 100 or 1,000 times um, to get a proper result, statistical result. And these people just used to lie there strapped down, um, being being killed over and over. So they didn't want to get caught, basically.
No, you wouldn't
Uh,
really, would you?
and there was a heaps of Argene around, and they were trying not to get caught. And there was one group of Argene that decided that they were going to be terrorists and overtake the nation, and another
Sure.
group of Argene who said, "Look, you can't overtake the nation," and the story goes from there.
Okay.
Anyway, it was basically set up for the American market,
Okay.
and it was very interesting to see what they thought of each other. So, this is what I was researching. One of the things I discovered was how to change people's minds.
Okay.
And it was really interesting because because this guy did
Yeah.
how to crash a plane,
Okay.
what who was responsible for 3 Mile Island,
Okay.
and he did another disaster which was a boat with fuel oil in it. It was
Okay.
carrying fuel oil and fertilizer,
That's those are not good things on a boat.
which today you go, no. It was carrying fertilizer, and the day was in real Australian language 50 degrees C. So in American language, it's
Right.
about 116, 170.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's hot. And anyway, obviously the oil bubbled over its tanks, fell
Yes.
into the fertilizer. The fertilizer, which had a flashpoint next to the metal, because the metal, of course, was hotter than everything. The
Yes.
flashpoint got reached. It blew into the fuel oil. The fuel oil rushed into the rest of the fertilizer and put a crater in the surrounding land. So it was basically, this guy said, who was at fault? And it basically went, it's a systems approach. No one was at fault. No one was at fault. What happened was the problems weren't worked, and the systems weren't worked, and the machines weren't worked, and the people who just happened to be there were doing the right thing they knew how to do, except they didn't know the full story, they didn't know the full information, and they didn't know the full system. And what fascinated me was with how to change minds and this particular thing all jammed into one. I went, oh my God, when you put this into how to pick up chicks, bow chicka wow wow, and incels don't have the tools. They do not have the tools to get
That's the biggest
themselves.
problem. Yeah.
They can't get themselves out of this problem because they don't have the systems. They're not in the systems to pull them out of it.
Yeah.
And unless they get systemic tools to get them out of it, they're going to keep on doing what they do.
Yeah.
And unless virgins get systemic tools on how to get out of it, let's stop blaming the person and start blaming the system. Let's start blaming the machines that are failing, and
Yeah.
let's start working the problem, not the
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's
How's
interesting.
that?
That's the approach we've got to take. Clearly,
Yeah.
give them the tools to be better people. Don't just scream at them, "Be better, you fucking worthless piece of shit." As tempting as that is,
As
because
tempting as it is, and they are horrible human beings. But maybe they were made to be horrible human beings.
or they
Maybe
at least
they were.
haven't had a good chance to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, the idea of being told that there's a Chad and a Stacey. They haven't walked in Chad's shoes. They haven't got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and fucking pumped iron for 4 fucking hours, bored out of their fucking minds.
Did you
They
watch?
haven't.
Did you
Go on.
watch the female Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah, I loved
Now, I
it.
personally think it's hilarious. I really like it.
Yeah,
But there's one line because the bad guy in it was an angry little incel, and
yeah, yeah.
where he ends up possessing Chris Hemsworth. You just made me think of it because he possesses Chris Hemsworth's body and just goes, "Ah, I should have gone to the gym and worked out. This feels great." It's just
Yes,
like,
I
yeah,
should have
you'd be
gone to the gym
surprised.
and worked out. Yeah,
You'd
you'd
be
be amazed.
surprised. I wanted to lighten up. We're in like last 10 minutes, but I love because I think everyone gets the bow chicka wow wow thing, even if they don't know why they get it. But look, honestly, that's one of the things we've lost with porn. The rise of modern porn, which is very interestingly dramatized in the high-end TV show The Juice,
Yeah.
that has what's his face playing twins, the guy who's in all the stoner movies,
Oh, yeah, him.
him, and Maggie
Him.
Gyllenhaal. Maggie Gyllenhaal's the female lead. Just trying to remember the guy, but he plays two characters. He plays twins, but it's at Times Square in the 70s, and it's the rise of the modern porn industry, and that's where we get that from. Because that was, although they did do the shorts in those days, because they have the little things with the
The one
machines to put
reelers,
the
yeah.
quarter in and watch it for 5 minutes, but they had the theaters that showed the films because it was shot on film. It's pre-video, and they had themes. And when there was this phase where they went up market, and it was the 70s. So a lot of the music was this funk stuff, and they would just either buy cheaply available session musician stuff or get some session musician. So it'd be this, all the pornos had this really bass heavy funk music in it, you know, chicka, 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 bow, chicka, chicka, chicka. And that's how it became our generation shorthanded the start of sexy occasions with bow chicka bow wow, because the porn all had this funk soundtrack.
All had this soundtrack of bow chicka wow wow chicka bow wow.
And in the 80s it changed a little bit, but it was more synthesizer, but it was still like really cheaply produced.
It was the same sort of thing, but I mean, every time you hit bow chicka wow wow, you heard bing bong, hello, I've come with the pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, you've come with the pizza. I don't know if I've got the right money. Okay, here's your pizza. It's hot in here. Do you mind if I take off my shirt? Sure. Yes. Let's just put the pizza to one side.
Do you want some extra sausage?
I'm going to take some of my shirt off too. Oh, I'm not wearing a bra. I hope that does not offend you. And it went on and on like that, and it was the most, you know, it was like that was a what do they call it? That was a plot line.
Yes.
You know,
they would have whole stories around them. It was
Oftentimes it was just bow chicka wow wow, and they were into it.
But the shorts were the exception. The more common one until late 80s was the story ones. And then when home video got bigger and bigger, it became more common for them to produce a series of unconnected shorts. But I remember, do you remember? I don't think I should say his last name. Do you remember Big Jeff from college?
I do remember Big Jeff from college.
Yeah,
and there was a reason why they called him Big Jeff.
Yes, and he had a big collection of porn, which was completely illegal at the time, and would occasionally have film nights. And he had the one that was really illegal, that was the bestiality one, that he was just testing people's stamina with. And I was not there the night that one was on, but basically the summary.
Animal Farm.
Animal Farm, Old McDonald's Farm, that sort of, they had names like that. And the summary version I heard of it when I got back, it was basically said, okay, we decided we were going to watch it, and it was horrible. And we go, well, at least it can't get any worse, and the next thing would be worse. And we go, well, it can't get worse than that, and the next thing would be worse. And it was just terrible. But he also had some, they're all European for some reason. The shorts were all European. And it was really funny because it was kind of a joke in the American-produced feature-length pornos. How much lead-in would there be to the first fucking scene? And, you know, somewhere between... No, it would be usually at least 5 minutes. Sometimes longer, but it would be at least 5 minutes. It was a joke how long till the first fucking starts. But then you get these shorts that were literally only 5 minutes long. They were just, you know, like long enough for someone to whack off to. And we go like... And they were still... These European ones were still trying to have some sort of story in them. And it's like... How much in a 5 minute short, how much story do you have before people take their clothes off? And it's like 15 to 30 seconds. And it's hilarious for someone to try and work in a setup in 15 to 30 seconds.
And something that a comedian learns to do very fast.
Yes, including taking their clothes off.
Mostly taking their clothes
I was just asking if you ever saw a Betamax. When I was at college, which was where Aidan and I met, first year I lived with my sister. She actually had a Betamax because it was reputed to be a superior technology to the VHS. And I do remember when she bought
it. And it was, but it just got destroyed by the VHS.
Yeah, because Sony owned VHS and they controlled a bunch of movies and whatnot.
Sony and Toshiba
Yeah,
formed a Zaibatsu
yeah,
and
yeah.
destroyed everything else.
But I do remember my sister, she got a deal when she bought the Betamax. They threw in a copy of Alien, the original Alien on Betamax, which is a fucking class movie. So I watched that a lot. The video stores had a Beta and VHS for years before they dropped Beta. And then it was VHS for years. And then it was DVDs. And VHS held on valiantly for a few years before it was completely dumped for DVD. And then DVDs had a really solid run through the 90s. And although they're both DVDs and Blu-rays are still around, Blu-rays never really took hold in the rental places.
No, because they're actually it's bizarre. Blu-rays are actually surprisingly fragile. I would have thought that would be the other way around, but they're actually surprisingly fragile. If you chip the edge of a Blu-ray, it actually folds the inner foil all the way through, and
it causes just a defect all the way through,
and causes a flutter all the way through, and you've got to take the bloody thing back. It's so hard to find that they have to throw it out.
Yeah, and of course they have the new ones now. Physical media won't die just yet.
No.
I mean, all the rental places have died, but you still buy them. People who want a collection, the 4K Ultra ones, which I've actually never seen. I don't have a 4K player. I have I have a PS4 which plays Blu-rays and DVDs. I don't see the point of the 4K Ultra. I don't. Maybe it's just because I'm old. I don't need any more definition than I've already got.
Okay, so the 4K is about having a TV screen, and they do exist. A TV screen that is approximately 100. I don't know the diagonal dimensions. They're approximately 150 centimeters high.
I've seen them. I've seen
300 centimeters long.
Yeah,
and they have to sit on a wall.
Yeah,
and it's virtually a home cinema. And the 4K is the sharpest thing you've ever seen on these things. The depth of field is such that you could think you could walk into the fucking thing.
Yeah, I've seen them in the shops. They're pretty over the top.
They're just. They have to hang them on the wall in the shops because they're massive.
Yeah.
They have to be brought to your home and set up.
Oh, yes.
You know what? Bizarrely enough, a girlfriend of mine said when she was designing her dream house that she would have 10 centimeter drainage pipe all the way through all of her walls.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what would it be connected to? And she said, oh, nothing. And I said, well, why would you do that? And she said, oh, it's for technology that hasn't been invented yet. And I went, oh, yeah, righto. And nowadays, with fucking cords everywhere, I go,
that's pretty fucking smart.
Smart girl. Smart girl.
Yeah.
She's dead now, sadly.
But now everything's wireless anyway, so, yeah.
Anyway, I was gonna say, I was going to say something along the lines of media.
Well, it's time to say good night is what it's time to say.
Is it? It really is too. All right, look. Thank you. French President Jacques Chirac has died. Hey, listen, just quickly before we go, is it true that Trump is about to be impeached?
What has happened is it's been found out that it is highly probable that he directly coerced the president of Ukraine to launch an investigation to Joe Biden's son to smear Joe Biden, and said, you're going to lose a whole bunch of US aid if you don't do this, which is a blatantly criminal act. And so the Democrats have actually launched an impeachment investigation. It's the first stage of impeachment. Nancy Pelosi, who's the most powerful Democrat, House Speaker, was against impeachment. She said that they had nothing to win by launching it. But this is a bridge too far. So this is a clear breach of law, and they're going to launch an investigation. The way the process works, first the Congress launches an investigation. If the investigation uncovers what they believe is solid evidence of an impeachable offense, then Congress moves to an impeachment vote for which they only need a simple majority, and the Democrats have the numbers to get a simple majority. And then it goes to Senate, where there's a trial, and there's usually like someone from the Supreme Court gets involved in the trial. But it's only called a trial because it's still a vote, and it's going to vote purely along party lines. And the Senate has to vote 2/3 in favor of impeachment, which has never happened and won't happen with you unless they uncover a crime so incredibly egregious that even rusted on Republicans go, oh, we can't actually excuse that, because if we cover this up, this has now been exposed as like a really serious crime. If we say no biggie, we get massacred at the next election. And we'd rather sacrifice Trump than sacrifice the whole party.
So sorry, go on.
I was going to say, it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot that Trump will actually be impeached, but there's a reasonable chance it will do significant damage to him.
Because all that needs to happen is the Ukrainian son needs to come with a recording and it's over.
Oh, no, apparently they've released a transcript of the call, and it doesn't look good. So,
okay, if that comes to light, and has he already lied about it? Has he already said it hasn't happened?
He said he hasn't broken the law. See, it's like they got Clinton, the Republican-controlled Congress got Clinton on the technicality that he lied to them. While they were investigating, they said, were you getting gobbies in the White House? And he went, nuh-uh. And then
they said, are you getting sex in the White House? And he said, nuh-uh.
No, that's on the transcript. There was a distinguished gentleman goes, no, motherfucker, you were getting gobbies. Admit it. Come on, you got a gobby, didn't you? And Clinton went, nah, man, no, I don't do gobbies. And that's verbatim. That's what happened. That's what happened.
And then he said he got gobbies in the cupboard, so it doesn't count.
The thing he said was, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And when you read what actually happened, Clinton's a fucking weirdo and he's a control freak. And he structured stuff so that he, in his own mind, could separate things out and said, because I didn't actually come in her mouth and because I don't care about her, that isn't sexual relations. You know, having her suck my dick isn't sexual relations if I don't come in her mouth and I also don't care about her. He's a fucking piece of shit, honestly.
Well, yeah, he was also trying to fucking save his marriage. I mean, Jesus Christ.
No, and but anyway, they got him on the technicality. He lied. He lied under oath and said he didn't have.
The fucking investigation was about fucking a fucking property deal where they lost money. I mean, how the fuck did it get to there?
Well, that was his big slip. No, that whole thing was bullshit. But anyway, it's not. No, by the way, like as opposed to they were just trying to stick anything on Clinton. Trump appears to be involved in what could be a very serious crime. Maybe not. But again, and of course, remember, Nixon was never impeached. Nixon resigned because the Republican Party said to him, oh, no, dude, you're fucked. You are
You
so
fucked. You got to
fucked.
go.
You are
And
going down.
I imagine if this goes any further, the Republican Party will say much the same thing.
But this is the thing. Trump could fucking die. He's old and unfit. And could you imagine? I literally do not know what would happen with his psycho base if, like, he had an aneurysm and dropped dead.
Yeah, his psycho base would freak out and say
Or
the
not.
blokes are
See,
coming
that's the
to kill
thing.
them all.
They'd either freak out and do something big, or they'd do nothing because they're just all talk. And I mean, but you only need one or two to cause havoc, and we've seen that already. Anyway, God, that's fucking cheerful. I tried to end on a cheerful night talking about
Well,
porn.
I've got a cheerful thing to say.
Good, go for it.
Basically, there is a guy that plays guitar near the mall where I live, and he's
Yes.
homeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the police came up to him,
Yes.
and his dog, who's a lovely little dog,
Yes.
was sitting there, and they said, "Is your dog safe?" And he says, "The dog's not going to bite anyone, buddy. You could go and pat him, and he'd probably try and lick you. That'd be about most aggressive he'd get."
Yeah.
And the coppers have tried this, and the dog's gone, "Yeah, hello, you're my friend." And he's gone, "Right, well, you've been sitting here for a few weeks playing guitar." And he says, "Yes, I have." And he's getting ready to move. And he goes,
Yeah.
"Well, play us a bit." And he plays them a bit. And he goes, "Well, that's clearly busking. That's not homeless begging." And so the mall has a stipend fund for busking for every 6 months, and the stipend fund is $3,000. And because you're the only one that's been playing for 6 months, here's your stipend fund for $3,000.
Fuck
goes,
yeah.
"I could get a bond for that." And they said,
Oh,
"Yes,
fuck.
yes, you could. You could probably get new clothes. You could probably get new
Holy
boots. In
fuck.
fact, we've we've basically got you a voucher from Kmart to get you a new suit of clothes and boots and the whole lot. So here's that. And thank you very much for your good work. You play really nicely." Because one of the things he plays is the deer
Yeah.
hunter, and it's
Yes.
gorgeous. You know, you
Yeah.
just walk along and it's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, lovely."
Yeah.
And his little dog, like, he's got his head on his
Yeah.
lap, and and everybody like throws a couple of bucks in because
Yeah.
it's not it's a rich area, but the people who go through that particular mall aren't super rich. And
That's
he's
not a
really
very
nice.
flash mall, no.
Smiles, and then so they gave him $3,000, and they gave him like new clothes, and they gave him everything. He's going, "Oh, that's so nice. That's really nice." And the local barber turned
Yeah.
up and said, "Anytime you want a shave and a haircut,
You're going to clean
come
him
to the
up.
local barber and you can get a shave and a haircut and a shampoo." And I seen him next day, and he had his haircut and his shampoo and a little seat. He had a little seat because he was
Yeah.
like, sitting on the concrete. He had a
Yeah.
little seat, and he was playing. And I go, "You still playing?" He says, "Yeah, I'm on my next $3,000."
Yeah.
and,
That's a
I
good
said,
news story.
"Have you got have you looking at getting a house?" And he said, "Yes, I've got um, three real estates looking for me. So and I
Yeah.
want a place nearby. So yeah, and life is good.
Man, I'm
How's
glad I
that?
said I wanted to end on an up note. That is a good
How's
news
that? Like
story.
a stipend for busking that no one took because there's beggars everywhere, and
Yeah,
he was
but he's
playing
the only
guitar,
busker.
and he's the only busker, so they gave him a lot.
God
and
damn.
and he played really nicely, so really gently, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like slamming through them all. It
Yeah.
was really gently, so if you could sort of come in and people throw him a couple bucks, and he was living on that, and yeah, and they said, well, and the police came up, and he's going, and he's getting ready to move on. And I go, no, 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 you're right, just hang on for a sec. We got some
What a
things to
good
tell
news
you.
story. That's fantastic.
So there you go, something nice to end on.
There you go. Anyone watching this back, anyone who's still with us now, anyone watching it back later, carry that good news story in your heart. That's fucking awesome.
Thank you very much for letting me be on your device. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm coming in late.
Thanks, Safa, in particular, for keeping the chat going. We'll see you again sometime soon. I lasted the whole 2 hours. I'm slightly surprised because I definitely do not have all my strength back, but I'm getting there. See you fine folk again sometime soon. Thank you one and all, and say bye for now.
Cheers. Bye.
I'm not sure how long